Well, so I know I just recorded a video about my top 3 wigs. So now I'm going to talk about one of my wigs more in depth, and that is this blonde charisma wig. Again, I did cut it if you watched the last video. I talked a little bit about why I cut it. But today what I'm going to do is, because I decided to start wearing her again, I don't know, I have a tendency to call her. I guess, I don't know, is that with every wig? Is every wig a her? I don't know. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I basically do. I mean, to kind of put, to put the foundation on here, and also, well, it is foundation, and then powder. It's more of the highlighting powder that I use, and I put that here, and I sometimes put it underneath the lace too. So what I do is, because with this wig I did just recently washed it, so of course all the makeup is pretty much gone, and then here's the lace here. Yeah. So, and I would put a little of the powder in here. As you can see, some leftover might be still there. Maybe I didn't scrub it enough, but you scrub as much as you can to take it off. You don't want to go too crazy because you don't want to ruin the wig. But what I do is, normally I would put I would put the powder here, but because this lace isn't super dark, it's not super dark, I'm probably not gonna do it. I'm not planning to do it. I'm just gonna do this part here. Okay, you see that part there? I'm just gonna use that part. So what I do is, now if the lace is really dark, I would normally put some powder underneath here. I wouldn't put a whole lot, because again, you're not, I mean your wig's not going to go that crazy, like flapping around, and you're going to see all the lace. Maybe unless you're in a hurricane or a typhoon, maybe, I don't know. Why would you be wearing a wig during a typhoon or a hurricane and you're going to be outside? So anyways, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to I'm going to first put this foundation on. Now I use this one. It's the LA Girl. You don't need to get the most expensive foundation. You really don't. And you try to get the one that's the closest to like your skin right here, or even to where your scalp is. Now your scalp is a little bit lighter than your actual face, right? So you would want to get something that's closest to either, like, I would say around like the edging of your, where your hairline is, or even where your root, or where your actual, the scalp is. You try to get it as close as you can. So I get the ivory. Again, that's kind of like almost like the lightest color anyways. So what I do is I just go ahead, and what I'll do is, today I'm going to use this little piece of paper here and put some of the foundation on there. Okay, you don't need to put too much, because you don't want to waste it. I don't know. So that much there. And then you use like a small little brush. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. There you go. So, so what we're going to do here is you just put a little bit here, because you don't need to put a lot, okay? Especially if you're just going to do the rooting part here, where the root's at. So what you're going to do is just kind of simply what's that called? it's on the tip of my tongue, like for art, for people that are artists. Not Stibble. Careful, Lynn. Thank you. Yeah, Lynn's in the room. If you haven't heard the Peppa the Pig videos, she loves Peppa the Pig. But yeah, so you just kind of like almost like your, oh, it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue. If anybody knows, please comment below. But yeah, you just kind of like dab it a little bit. Okay, that's what you do. And see, and then, you know, you just dab it again. You know, and you can put as much as you feel that you might need. You don't need to go too crazy. Then again, you know, it's really up to you how much you want to show. And you see now, like before, so this is without putting it on. This is with putting it on. So you can kind of see it a little bit better. Okay? So, and then put it back here. So there you go. So there you go. And then, you know, you just kind of like do as best as you can. Just stipple. And then. And the whole reason for doing this too is to kind of kill the dark knots of the hair, right? Because, you know, when you look at my scalp, for example. When you look at my scalp, for example, you're not gonna see the knots there. You're not, right? You don't see it because it's in there, right? It's in your scalp, right? Basically, so when you look down, you don't want to have that look to it, right? So that's the same thing with this. When you're putting your wig on, when you're wearing a wig, you don't want to look at the black knots or the dark knots. Okay? Now, the type of wigs where you won't see that is, you know, the really high-end ones, or ones where the wig is practically all blonde, right? So from root all the way down, it's all blonde. So you're not going to really see the black knots, right? Or the dark knots, because the wig hair itself is blonde. So you're not going to really see that. But when you're looking at wigs that have like a dark root, which this one does, for example, you're going to see those small little dots. So as best as you can, you want to like mask that. You know, if it was real hair, for example, a real hair wig, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll bleach the roots, right? And so, or they'll bleach the knots, not the roots, but the knots. And then you won't see it, right? And there's a lot of different techniques out there. This is just one of them that I like to do, right? So that's pretty much so right there. So now the foundation is in there, and I feel like I have enough. And again, you could always reapply throughout your wears. You don't have to do just one and done. It's not, I mean, generally speaking, it is. I mean, after, the only other time you might need to redo it again is if you've worn it, you know, for about a week to two, and then it's starting to dull off. Because again, you know, with rain and the weather and all that, you know, it will eventually kind of go away, right? So, but you don't need to reapply it every day. So once you do it once, you're pretty good for a couple of weeks at least, or at least that's with me, what I've noticed. So now the next step is to put the powder on. Okay, so I use this the e.l.f. palette, which is the highlighter. Sorry if it looks a little messy, but that's what happens when you use it for a while. So as you can tell, the one that I use the most is the lightest. So now what I do is I mix it with the two lighter ones, okay? So that's what I do. So I'll dab a little bit from the lighter one, and then mix it with the darker one, and then just kind of smear it like right there, as you can see. That's what I do. Simple. Now, what other people do too is where they see there's sometimes, I don't know if you're gonna see it, there's some hair here that's right on your line, and some people, what they'll do is they'll pluck it. For me, I'm happy with this because if I do anything more, it's gonna look like I got a bald spot. So I don't want to do that. So, but some people do that too. So that's also a quick technique for you, where like if you weren't too sure if you plucked enough hair out of that part, use the powder or the, you know, when you put the foundation and the powder on, use that, and then when you see like, oh, there's some hair there I don't want, so you can use the tweezers to pluck that out, and you can easily do that. So that's another way to kind of know exactly how much you want to take out, because what happens is when you see a lot of the knots and it's dark, right? So you're just plucking, and sometimes by accident you'll pluck a little bit too much. So the best bet is really to put some of the powder on first, so it can kind of disguise those knots, and then when you see the hair, like, oh, I don't want that hair there, I want to take that out, so you can take that out. So that looks, so that also kind of helps too. Okay, so that's another like a little technique that I've noticed that what you could do. Anyways, so you know, now I feel pretty good about this. You know, I feel good. I don't think I need to do any more. So the next step is using another little brush. Okay, so you see those other colors on that palette. I'm going to use the darker brown one that I had. And there's some parts here that have a little bit more of that white that I would like. So what I would do is just simply, just kind of ever so carefully, kind of just put it over and just cover it. And then that's what I'll do. And then I'll kind of like looking from here and here, you can see the white more. So that's what I will just normally do. Just to kind of mask that little extra white, because again, you're trying to make this to look as natural as possible, and the more you work on it, the more that you try to mask it, the better that, you know, when you go out, people are not going to notice it. And so you just you don't want to put a whole glob on your brush, just a little bit of that powder, and then it gets a little, you know, then it masks it a little bit. So but yeah, that's pretty much it. That is basically what I do. So now it looks, you know, it looks like a nice looking part, right? I mean, for me, it looks pretty good. So now, there I go again. Anyway, so so that's pretty much what I do to kind of, you know, mask it, mask that, you know, my lace there. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I mean, I feel comfortable now wearing it. Now, you know, and so of course every time you wash your wig, right, the makeup's gonna come off, right? Generally speaking, right? So just make sure that you just reapply it again, and then you'll be able to wear it again. And so that's what I did, because I did wash this. This was in the storage for a little bit, and I felt like, since it's been in storage, I think I need to clean it. I need to wash it. So, so I went ahead and I did that. And it's always good to wash your wigs, especially if they haven't been used for a while. It's been sitting, been in the storage. You'll have like that storage kind of smell to it. So make sure if you do choose to break out a wig again, make sure you do wash it. It's always, for me, I'd rather be wearing something clean on top of my head than something that's been storage for a while. Just to have that, you know, it just, you know, and then plus too, it kind of kills the smell, whatever that smell is. So, but yeah, it's very important to wash it. And then, you know, I mean, and wash it, you know, you don't have to wash it every day. You don't need to wash it every day. You do need to, you know, if you want to kind of help keep the smelling good and stuff like that, I would always use the dry shampoo. And then, but yeah. Yes, baby. Your YouTube video? Okay, hold on. So, but yeah, so anyways, guys, that is it. That is what I do with this wig when I want to start re-wearing it again. And you'll probably see me wearing those in more videos. All right, see ya. Bye.